Good evening, good evening, good evening. This is Coast to Coast. Whittle 2K. Got my host with me, Beyond 716. We're talking Buffalo Bills, um, New York Giants, and unfortunately, a costly loss. Um, so before we get into that, Beyond, how's everything going, man?
Everything's good. In a sense, you knew I was planning on going to this London game, but for personal reasons couldn't make it. But in hindsight, I'm kind of glad I didn't, even though it looked like a great experience for everybody. But yeah, the loss was massive. I mean, at multiple levels of the defense, which we're going to get into for sure.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's like really no other way to kind of describe it, man. I mean, I'm I'm a little jet lagged myself from this week, but this was a rough game, man. Um,
Hmm.
to lose Daquan Jones when he's playing at an All Pro level and potentially losing him for up to at least 12 weeks. Um, we don't know how bad the tear is, the pet tear is yet, but to lose Daquan Jones for that long is rough, to say the least. To lose Matt Milano, who was playing better than he was playing last year, rough, like extremely rough. These guys, and then to compound it, the week prior, we lose Trey White for the year again. It's just sad, man, and it's like it's almost like you know when do we when does luck hit us? Like when do we get a string of luck and good and great help with the great quarterback and both sides of the ball playing at an elite level? Like I watched the 49ers absolutely dismantle the the Dallas Cowboys, and I'm thinking to myself, fully healthy, this Buffalo team can play on the same field. Like they can play with the 49ers fully healthy. And we just don't have a fully healthy roster. So um yeah, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, it's not only the talent we lost, it's the heart and soul, right? I mean, what Trey White has meant to this team for so long, right? What I mean, he's one of our. Yeah, we've talked about it before. If we win the Super Bowl, Trey Wright's one of the first players that I want to see in that podium. He's one of our core guys, right? And Matt Milano, I mean, Tony Romo said last week he's the defensive player of the year at this point after the Miami game. And you're thinking, wow, could we have that kind of defense? Could we have this special? Then he's out for the year. And then Daquan Jones, I mean, here's a guy that was playing at a Pro Bowl level, right? Was looking probably at a really nice little extension later in his career, right? All pretty much gone for the season. It's not even 4 weeks, like you said. Like, where's our luck? Where's our run of health, right? That when we have this great roster. Now, I'm going to try to put you in a little bit of a better mood, right? On a couple fronts, right? About last week. And if you were listening last week, this is why I love doing this with Whittle, because he's going to give it to you real. Okay. Whittle picked us to lose last week. I barely had us winning by 3. You're going to get exactly what you need as Bills fans here on Coast to Coast. You're not going to get it's not always going to be rosy, right? There's tough teams out there. Just wanted to put that out there and give you those kudos and just explain why I love doing this with you so much. But here's the good news, Whittle. What Brandon B did in the offseason to get the depth that we didn't have the year before, is it enough to be just enough on defense and make this offense championship caliber the way we've seen it so far? I mean, do you think we have what it takes to withstand this a lot better than, let's say, last year when we lost Daquan Jones and we were Poona Ford on the roster? With maybe Dorian Williams could be a possible breakout guy, but we don't know what we're going to see out of Dorian. And even with Christian Benford coming back, I mean, do you think we have enough to withstand versus what the problems we had late last season?
I think we do. We lost Trey White in 2021. Trey White was playing at I mean, he was playing at elite, all pro, shut down an entire side of the field level. Like, that's not an exaggeration. Trey White was playing that well in 2021, and we lost him. That was also the year we went to Kansas City in the regular season. Absolutely, just ripped them to shreds, just like destroyed them. And if you talk to an actual Kansas City fan, uh, that's not a homer, they will tell you after that game against the Bills in 2021, where we went into Kansas City and just beat them bad. Um, they would tell you that they were legitimately worried about this Buffalo team in the playoffs. They did not want to play us, but we lost Trey White and we had to replace him with Dane Jackson and have Levi Wallace essentially at cornerback one. We are in a much better position now. I think Brandon Beane saw losing Trey White and then having to kind of rely on Levi Wallace as your best corner. Um, I think he took that and then losing Daquan Jones last year not having him against Cincinnati and just having Joe Mixon and that offense, that backup offensive line in Cincinnati just literally push this front four around. I think he saw that and said, we lost Vaughn, we lost Daquan, and we've lost Trey before. And each time it's hurt us. This year, we're going to put guys in positions on the second unit. We're going to have excellent depth on the second unit to mitigate those losses when they do come. And I am excited about Kyer Elam and Dorian Williams. I am excited about these young men. Um, I am excited about Puna Ford getting an opportunity. I am excited about, and I know it doesn't seem that way, but I'm excited about Von Miller coming back. Let me tell you, it took a lot not to have a full bottle of wine sitting right here next to me, or something a little harder, because it's year after year, man. It just seems like we can't catch a break, man. 2021, Trey White goes down. Last year, it ended the way it ended, where we just got embarrassed at home. And now this year, it looks like the team is really clicking on both sides of the football. The guys are, we were just beating teams up, man, just beating them up. And, to lose these guys the way we lost them, man, it was rough. But I don't want to stay too long on the doom and gloom of the injury forefront.
Mm-hmm.
Let's get into the game. Let's get into the Jags game. Uh, a
Sure.
couple positives I took from that Jags game. Stephon Diggs is an absolute dog. He is a dog. 100%
Yeah,
he's a dog. I don't think this team is as successful as it has been if you swap Diggs with Devontae Adams in 2020. If you go
I
get
agree.
Devontae Adams and bring him here, yeah, 2020 probably looks similar, but
Mm-hmm.
2021, I don't think so. 2022, I don't think so. And certainly not this year. Devontae's not the same type of player. Cooper Kupp's not the same type of player. Justin Jefferson, I don't believe that he's the same type of player. Jamar Chase has a similar dog in him. And Tyreek Hill, I don't think is a similar type of player as well. But I gotta be honest, man. Um, this team, I believe the leader of this offense in the locker room is definitely Stephon Diggs. The man had another great game despite the travel and all the other things that kind of didn't work in our favor. Um, and you just got to give him credit. He was the professional that we needed. And when I say professional, I mean professional athlete, not office professional. He wouldn't
Yeah.
last too long in office, I think. But he does a great job on the field. And my number two uh good takeaway from the team from Sunday. Um, the offensive line, I think, played very well, despite Jacksonville really throwing a lot of stuff at him. Josh had time. Um, Josh was able to navigate the pocket and get the ball out and not be rushed. Um, and I thought that they did. I thought that they did a good enough job to continue to run the football. But the game plan just didn't, I guess, call for that. And that's another issue that we have to discuss another time with Ken Dorsey and his inconsistency in his game planning. And I want to give credit to the replacements, and I just say that loosely. I don't want to take anything away from AJ Epinesa, who had probably the game of his career. Dorian Williams, who I thought played with his hair on fire. I thought he was very active. He was full speed the entire time he was in the game. He made some mistakes at full speed, but I'd rather him do that now, and then the game slow down and him learn the spots where he needs to be. And then Kyrie Elam, like I went back and I watched some of Kyrie Elam in coverage, and he wasn't as bad as it looks. It's just a few things that he needs to clean up on the technical side of things, and I think he'll be fine. Maybe if the man had more snaps through the first 4 weeks of the season, maybe he would have played a lot tighter, a lot better. Maybe he would have trusted his technique a little more. But with that being said, the defensive line is getting some juice back. Vaughn is back, and yeah, I mean, as bad as that game was for us offensively, we gave up a ton of yards on the ground defensively. Calvin Ridley got whatever he wanted offensively, and we lost by 5. So I'm confident if we see this team in the playoffs, it'll be a different story. And I don't care where in the continental United States of America, wherever it's played in the United States of America, that game will go a different way in the playoffs. I am 100% sure of that. But what were some of your takeaways from the game, Beyond?
No, I think that was a great rundown. I'm going to start with the negatives just a little bit. I'm going to use those loosely, right? Because obviously, one of the negatives that I saw, Whittle, and you're better at this than I am. Full disclosure, I felt like when we were in 12 personnel and Josh was under center, he was excellent, right? I mean, and I just didn't understand why Dorsey got away from that a little bit more than I think he should have in this game, especially considering the score was even 11-7, like 7 minutes to go. I mean, it wasn't like we were down 20 something points early and we were desperate, to go in shotgun and make big plays down the field. I didn't understand why we got away from that. Maybe didn't sprinkle in a little more Damian Harris in this kind of game where it was tough sledding with the running game. I thought that would have, especially with the defensive guys we lost, right? And the shock that had to be to that unit. I thought that would be a better support system for what happened in game, right? Losing Milano, losing Daquan. I mean, that's tough. I mean, I don't care what team you are. You lose that kind of talent, it's going to be tough. So I would, that was a little bit of a negative for me. The other thing, and I'm not going to kill them for this game, but we've talked about it. 6-11 in their last 17 games decided by 7 or less. Where Kansas City, you look at them, they're much different record. We just have to get better in those games. Maybe this is not the best time to go about it because of all the other issues with the field, with the injuries, with the time travel. But it's just those little things we talked about, the little things that this team needs to do better. Why did they go into London on Friday? I mean, the Baltimore Ravens are playing there this week, and they've been there since Monday, right? Like, I know Sean McDermott says, "Oh, we got to go back and look at that." I just didn't understand why. I mean, our podcast is called Coast to Coast, right? When I came to see you at the
Right.
tailgate on Monday, even I was messed up, and I'm not an athlete, right? I got in on Friday. I was still messed up on Monday, right? Even at the
Right.
tailgate, right? I couldn't sleep that
Yeah.
night. I was up at 3 a.m. I couldn't get my rhythm. Imagine going 5 hours, right? And you're a pro athlete, and these guys, Deion Dawkins said at one time, we're all creatures of habit. We have schedules. Have, they have itineraries they follow every single week. And then that gets really thrown off in that short period of time. So I thought that was a major mistake by the Bills. And even ETN said it right in his in the post game. He said that was a really big factor. He left nothing off the table with his quote. I mean, he said it first and foremost. Like, I think he probably thought that was one of the biggest keys of the game. So those are really the two big negatives that I would say from that front. But you're right. Just to be quick with the positives, I thought Dorian Williams showed some signs. I mean, he wasn't perfect, but I'm excited to see what he can do. I mean, that speed and his tackling, Billy, how he gets to the ball. I'm excited to see what McDermott can do with him over the next few weeks. And I feel like we got good matchups to kind of get him acclimated into the flow of our defense. Then we got the Giants, Patriots coming up. I think those are two optimal matchups for him to come in. So I thought that he was a pretty good positive. And what can you say about AJ Epinesa? I mean, the guy's playing like an animal lately. I mean, he's incredible, right? I mean, even had my buddies texting me, Giant fans. I said, man, who's this AJ? Who's this Epinesa guy? And I said, yeah, we've been kind of waiting for him for probably about 4 or 5 years. So some of the positives I had, and there's a lot of reasons why we lost the game, but there's no reason for us to jump, say season's done, or we're not, we can recover. We could do this, but we got a lot of work to do when it starts this week.
Absolutely. Yeah, just to kind of wrap up the game on Sunday. Jacksonville had the advantage of being there since the week prior. And like you said, Travis Etienne spoke on that, put it out there. So they knew what it was. They knew how their bodies felt when they came over and played against the Falcons. So it was no surprise to me that they came out and looked to run a fast tempoed offense where they were throwing the ball a lot, and especially at going after our corners. Benford didn't play. Oh, excuse me. Trey didn't play as well, so them going after the corners was predictable, and they sped things up to not allow anybody to rest. It was to tire guys out, and I mean, I gotta say it did work. They went down the field and scored with relative ease at first, and then they went for a 2-point conversion, and that worked as well. But the game sort of shifted once the defense got some stops. Like once the defense got some stops, it was just like, all right, we're okay. The offense. James Cook dropped the pass on 3rd and 2. Definitely would have been a first down. Dawson Knox had a few drops. Gabe Davis had a drop down the field on 2nd and 10. That would have been a huge game, put us in the red zone. And if it wasn't a drop pass, it was a flag holding. It was a flag for illegal hands to the face. Offensive pass interference for a pick play. It was just stuff like that, man. Dorsey disappointed me this game. This was definitely a Damian Harris, Latavius Murray, A and B gap type of game. You have the guys up front now to create displacement at the line of scrimmage. You've got wide receivers that can pin down on these athletic defensive ends that Jacksonville had. I don't know. It just I sometimes Ken Dorsey makes some decisions, and I wonder whether or not he knows football because he's just making the game harder than it has to be. But oh boy, on to the next, man. We got the New York Giants coming in, or what I like to call them, Buffalo Southeast. Some familiar faces. I was unable to secure a Giants guest today. Someone who could come in and kind of break down the X's and O's and give us some insight on the players and the strategies and things like that. I know a ton of Giants fans. The guy I was gonna bring on here is the guy I was gonna bring is he had surgery this past weekend, so he was out, and and then I had a couple of people on Twitter that kind of never responded. So it is what it is. I feel like we can speak enough about. I mean, we can speak on what we know about the Giants. I mean, half the team is ours. So half the team was in Buffalo last year. So, Brian Daboll, defending coach of the year, great offensive mind. Did he win? He won coach of the year last year, right?
He did win. Yes, he did. He did win coach of the year last year.
I just want to make sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so Daboll is going to bring that creativity to the offense. Now I'm not sure. Oh my gosh, I apologize.
You got that?
I'm not
you got
sure
that?
if
No. You know why this is perfect? You have that London jet lag that we had last week.
I definitely do. I definitely do. So yeah, I'm pulling up the Giants injury report right now.
Mm-hmm.
Injury report. Of course, this thing's going to take forever, right?
Yep, their offensive
Week
line
5.
is.
Let's see. I'm not sure, and I'm checking for. That offensive line is disgusting, man. Oh gosh.
Yep.
Yeah, this is bad. Oof. Oh wow. Yeah, those guys
It's pretty extensive, especially on that. Yeah, I guess especially on that line.
Yeah, they're terrible. Yeah.
Just to read a tweet.
So
this one guy, Giants fan.
While this loads, yeah. No. Go ahead. You got it, man.
Oh no, I just saw this tweet from this Giant fan that their injury report's so long I had to get my reading glasses just to give you an idea out there of how many Giant players are really out right now. It's pretty extensive, and I mean, just right off the top, we don't even know if their quarterback Daniel Jones is going to play this week, which could set up another homecoming of sorts. Mr. Tyrod Taylor playing back in his old stomping grounds in Buffalo, so we'll have to see how that works out.
Now, one of my favorite Buffalo Bills of all time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, one of my favorite Bills of all time is Tyrod Taylor. I love Tyrod, man. I think he was just one of the smoothest, like just consummate professionals. He always had that, he always had something fly on before they would go and travel to a different, road game or something. I'm not even gonna lie to you, man. I got an outfit for a party that I went to a couple of years ago, and it was inspired by a Tyrod Taylor road game fit where he was boarding the plane. I'm gonna pull a picture next time. I should have pulled the picture and posted it, but Tyrod's a fly guy, man. That's one of my that's one of my favorites, man. But yeah, this is ugly, man. I'm looking at it now. Daniel Jones did not practice today. Micah McFadden, a linebacker out of Indiana, he didn't practice. Azeez Ojulari, LSU, he's always injured. Offensive tackle Matt Peart, I've never heard of him. Wan'Dale Robinson did not practice. John Michael Schmitz didn't practice, and Andrew Thomas didn't practice, and Darren Waller. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 guys on the offensive side of the football. That's ridiculous, man. I don't understand how That's tough. That's tough for any team to deal with. So Saquon Barkley was the limited practice, which is good for them. Who else? Who's this? Deontay Banks. Okay. Cordell Flott, he's always injured too. Shane Lemieux is hurt, but these guys are practicing. Marcus McKeithen, Deontay Banks, Gary Brightwell. I never heard of him. But these other guys, like it's good. It's good to see that some of them are practicing. But man, this injury list that they have is extensive. On the flip side, Christian Benford today, full practice. Balin Spector and Shaq Lawson, full practice. And I would love to get Shaq Lawson back out here because Shaq Lawson was sorely missed last week. Not having him and Rousseau was rough. That was rough. The run defense definitely took a major hit without having those guys available for us in London. Rousseau limited practice. Dane Jackson's got a foot thing. Dawn Kincaid is still in concussion protocol. So I don't know, man. What is this? June? Oh gosh, June is our favorite hater. He's back. Tyrod was a bum. He says Tyrod Taylor was a bum. Listen, Tyrod Taylor, if Tyrod went to your team, Tyrod would be the third best quarterback in your franchise's history. So, please stop. So the ones we know about, Milano's on injured reserve, Daquan Jones on injured reserve, and Trey White's on injured reserve. I'm excited to get Benford back. I think Benford and Elam together as the starters again. This is a good test for them. Jalen Hyatt is a very good receiver that can get down. He's a very, very fast receiver that can get down the field. And then they have a slew of other guys that are pretty solid receivers. But this is a game we should win, man. This is a game we should win. Brian Daboll's coming back home. A bunch of Bills players coming back home. And not Bills players, Giants players that used to play for the Bills, or Bills players that currently play for the Giants. Those guys are coming back home, and it's going to be bittersweet to see them, but it's okay. It's okay. I told you before the season. Oh God. Bro, nobody is thinking about Tremaine Edmonds. I promise you that. Jeez. You wish we were thinking about Tremaine Edmonds. Dude, Tremaine Edmonds is yesterday's news. We are way past that. So what are your Beyond, I gotta ask you. You know the injury situation that we're dealing with. How confident are you in this team? Honestly, let's have an honest conversation. How confident are you with this team going forward?
In terms of getting to where we ultimately go, which is the Super Bowl, right? Is that more of what the question is, Whittle?
Yes.
I would say before last week, and this is going to sound weird, but when you put the percentage against the rest of the teams in the AFC, I thought we had about a 15 to 20% shot at winning the conference, which it doesn't seem like much, but it is, because I'm putting them against other teams, or maybe some have 5% or 3% or 2%. You know what I mean? So I thought we were in great shape. Now I would maybe slice that in half. I still think we can, Whittle, and history sometimes can teach us things to look at, right? I mean, I know it's different circumstances, different injuries, but the Kansas City Chiefs were 3-2 last year, right? They had some young guys on defense that were struggling early, right? Now, some of our, Kyrie Elam, for example, had a tough game on Sunday. We all know that, right? But as you saw the season go along, Spagnuolo was rounding that defense into form where they were just good enough with their championship level offense, and they ultimately grinded out the wins that they needed to, and then ultimately beat the Eagles, listen, remember they gave up 32 points in the Super Bowl, so but they still found a way to win with that offense. So I'm sitting here thinking to myself, why can't we do that? Right? With more, like you said, more consistent play calling from Dorsey, with the way our offensive line is looking, the way Josh Allen's playing right now, the way Stephon Diggs is playing. I mean, Gabe Davis has been very, very consistent. So the odds have come down. I mean, we can't deny it, right? Losing Tremaine Edmonds, excuse me, June was in my head there for a second, Will. So, you know, but losing Trey White, you know, losing Matt Milano, losing Daquan Jones, it's big, right? It's big. But I really believe Sean McDermott's like the way he runs the defense. I have confidence he can find enough to plug the holes to a solid level where we can be a contender going forward. I'm not giving up on the season by any means. I think our margin for error for the defense has come down. I mean, in terms of injuries, I'm sorry. In terms of injuries, our margin for error is very, very slim right now. You mentioned something that always hit me this week, Little. You said we cannot lose Jordan Phillips, and I could not agree more with you. That's a guy we like. Those are the players we just cannot afford to lose at this point. Maybe when we had Daquan Jones, we could quote afford to lose him, but now we really, really can't. So and we never know what Brandon Beane's going to do in the trade market, right? Or in the free agent market. So we have to see how that goes. I don't know if I expect a big splash, but I would say it's cut in half now. But listen, we got a couple get right games this week. Whittle, we're not looking for any validation from the media or anybody on Twitter. Let's stack a few wins here. We got Tampa after that on Thursday night. Let's get those 3 wins, even if they're ugly. I don't care. We're getting players back. We're figuring things out, right? Let's get to that Cincinnati game at 6-2. 6-2 is still fine, right? Going into the second half of our schedule. So that's exactly where I'm at this point. How about you, Little?
I am still confident in this team. I think that I don't want to say this, but I'm going to say it, and Bills fans, don't be upset with me. I think that some of these injuries are forcing this team to trust in its youth. And the only way that you can remain a contender when you're paying a quarterback is you have to get quality play out of young guys on cheap contracts. So Josh Allen currently is top 5 in yards, first in completion percentage, first in total touchdowns, like second or third in like yards per attempt. I think he's top 3 in yards per game. I mean, there's a bunch of different areas where Josh Allen is absolutely crushing the stat sheet. But I think this is more about what are we going to do outside of Josh Allen. So I like the fact that we can run the football. I like the fact that the offensive line can run block as well as pass block. If you notice, I looked at one of those like grading charts or whatever that had all the different grades for the offensive line play from
Yeah.
different. It was like ESPN and Fox and PFF and something else. The Buffalo Bills are number 2 like their offensive line is number 2 in pass protection. Number 2 in the league. That's amazing. They're number 2 in the league in pass protection. I haven't seen that, or I haven't seen this good of an offensive line in Buffalo probably since the 90s, man. It's been a very, very long time. Actually, no, I gotta say, no, I think the 2016, 2017, what was that, 2017, 2018? No, 2016, 2017. That offensive line was pretty doggone good. The one average Incognito and those guys, they were pretty good. But I am confident in this team. I think that now is the right time to get these young kids on the field. Let them learn on the job, a little bit of on the job training. Let them fail. Let them make their mistakes. Let them give up big plays now, so that by the last quarter of the season, the last 3 or 4 games, the game is slowed down for them. Those guys are making impact plays. They're squeezing routes over the middle of the field. Kyrie's back to, you know, he's back on track to be, I think he has the talent to be one of the better cover corners in the league. So I think this is a good opportunity for these young guys to earn some spots and make management make some difficult decisions at the end of the year. Um,
Absolutely. We brought in Josh Norman to be a mentor in a sense for Kyrie Elam, which I thought was, why not, right? I mean, I know he's 35 years old and, that's old, especially for a corner, but I feel like if he could help Kyrie Elam, become a better pro, I'm all about it.
yeah, I didn't like the signing, but I kind of understand what the signing is. There's a lot of background politics going on, and Kyrie is being forced. They're forced to use Kyrie now, and I think this Kyrie is going to go out there and he's going to make a case as to why he needs to be the starter next year.
Absolutely.
But yeah, as far as London, I don't want to play in London again, ever. And this game against the Giants, um, I don't want to take anything away from the Giants, man.
Yeah, I mean, they're still they're still a professional team, Little, right? And Brian Daboll is coming home. I mean, it's not a revenge game or anything, but the one thing Brian Daboll knows too, he also probably really he knows a lot about Josh Allen, right? And if there's somebody that maybe could find some things. Now I know Josh Allen's a little bit of a different quarterback than when he left, but maybe my only fear is that maybe he knows his weaknesses a lot better than most and can put that defense. Because I don't think that believe it, I don't think the Giants defense has been as bad as people think, right? Like the offense is having
Right.
all the problems, right? Like even in that 40-0 game they lost week one, their off defense wasn't bad at all. It was just that the offense was a complete disaster at every level with the turnovers and the interceptions and
Right.
whatnot. So even against the Niners, they weren't that bad. I mean, Niners are just a machine, right? But they weren't embarrassingly bad in that game. So we still gotta, we still gotta get it done. We can't take it lightly. But we're coming home angry, so I'm okay from that point of view. I'm not too worried about their motivating the motivation from the Bill side of the ball.
So here's a couple of stats that that don't work in the favor of the Giants. The Bills
Mhm.
currently, as a team, lead the NFL in sacks. I mean, I used to pray for times like this. We are tied for first in interceptions on defense. Um, I think we're what are we in yards? Where are we at? Let's see. Well, the yards number is kind of messed up because a couple teams had bye weeks, but
Yep.
we're very good defense. We've played 5 games and we haven't given up 1,000 total yards. So we're giving them less than 200 yards of offense per game. That's pretty darn amazing. Um, and this Giants team has had its struggles offensively for all year so far. So we should take advantage. We need a bounce back, get right game. And here we go. This is it, in my
Yep.
opinion.
I mean, the Giants have they've been sacked. Dan Jones has been sacked 30 times, leads the league in that
That's
department. So from that point of view, I mean, Rousseau's coming back. We'll see if Von Miller gets more snaps this week. I mean, what do you think? He's still on a pitch count this week, with, or do you think
oh,
we let him
absolutely.
more loose?
No, he's
Yeah.
he's on a pitch count. Yeah, yeah. We
Mhm.
we gotta handle him with kid gloves, man. That
Yeah,
guy is
especially
30. what is he,
30,
34, something like that?
34.
Yeah,
He's a
we
young
gotta handle
34. I
him
mean,
with some
guy's in
love.
impeccable shape. But yes, I do agree. We have to handle him. I mean, the Giants do give up 5.3 yards a carry.
Right.
Looking at their run defense, so I think maybe it's a little bit of a get right game for Cook and for Damian Harris, whatnot. So yeah, I'm looking for a workman-like performance on Sunday night, Will. Right? Like,
Okay.
maybe it's not all the fireworks we're used to. With certain games we play, maybe a 41-7 type game. But I just want a nice workman-like performance. Let's just get out of here healthy. Health is my big word for this month, and we're going to talk about it over and over again. So, but I'm real excited. The thing I'm excited about is just to see, like I said, the young, guys like Elam, guys like Dorian Williams, just to see how they handle now becoming integral parts of this defense going forward in their first game.
Yeah, I gotta see. I'm not gonna. It's an NFL team, so
Hmm.
I'm not gonna disrespect them like like some of the 2 and 3 Jet fans that are in here in the chat are doing right now. I'm not gonna disrespect the New York Giants. Um, I'm not gonna disrespect the owners of MetLife Stadium like that. I'm not gonna do that. Not not the renters, but the owners, the landlords, not the tenants. Um, they still have a ton. They still have some talent on our roster. They're really really banged up right now, but um, Saquon Barkley is still a member of that team. Okay, they still have Jalen Hyatt. They have Darren Waller. I like that. I like that other tight end that they got last year, Daniel Bellinger from I want to say he was from San Diego State. Really, really, really solid kid. Darius Slayton is another really speedy wide receiver with some good route running chops. Hands are not crazy. Hands are not crazy. His hands are inconsistent, but he definitely has the speed and the route running to get himself open. Matt Breida is still there, so I'm sure that they'll deploy Matt Breida a few times on us. And our boy, man, Isaiah Hodgins, 6th round pick
Yeah,
for the
yeah.
Bills out of Oregon State, man. Would have loved to have kept that kid, but it is what it is. So they're not void of
Well,
talent. If Daniel
no.
Jones plays, he brings the athleticism to the equation where he can take off and run and make big plays with his legs. And he's a coachable kid, and Daboll has done a very good job of trying to put him in spaces where he can flourish, where he can be
Yeah.
successful. So we'll see what happens. Um,
You, you know what's amazing about the Giants, Whittle? It's the parallels between them and the 2017 Bills, the 2018 Bills. Josh Allen
mhm,
aside is unbelievable, right? I mean, Joe Schoen is over there in New York with the Giants, our old assistant GM, right? I
yep.
don't know if Dable and Schoen expected them to make the playoffs, almost similar to how it was with McDermott and Bean in 2017, right? You remember we started stripping down the roster. We got rid
Hmm.
of Watkins. We got rid of Darby, right? And then we bought Kelvin Benjamin. Like we were doing a little bit of both, right? We make the playoffs, kind of like that Giant team, right?
Hmm.
And then the Giants are in this corner. Like, what do we do with Daniel Jones, right? It was one of those. But at least to their credit, they signed him to a contract that they could get out of fairly okay after the season. So I thought it was a solid move by Schoen to say, let's give it a try, but at least we have it out next year, right? And you know what
Yeah.
we did in 2018? We lost by what, 43 points the first week to the Ravens, like the Giants lost to Dallas almost by 40 points week one. The
Something
Giants
like
kind of
that.
need the Giant fan needs to know the real here. They kind of need this. This is for their benefit down the line. They did a lot with smoke and mirrors last year. Let's be fair. I think we all know it. Dable did a great job, but this was not sustainable going into the season. So, from that point of view, I think the Giants going 4-13 or 3-14 for them is probably the best thing that can happen to them. Then they could trade off some players and get some picks and then really get the quarterback next year in a really good quarterback draft, by the way, that they could probably use going forward. So
I'm sorry, man. I'm just laughing at this back and forth between
no,
June
I love it. I
between
always feel the
June and
time.
Donna. Donna, he's gonna
Yeah,
do that with anybody who's willing to respond. So you're wasting
yeah,
your time. There's no talking sense in the June. Um,
yeah.
so I don't want to. We're gonna be here for a good time and not a long time. Give me some keys to the game, bro. Like, how do you see this going with the Giants on Sunday?
Well, keys to the game, of course, the old cliche things. Obviously, we need good Josh, meaning, we could deal with the one interception. Listen, he's had what, his last couple interceptions have been punts essentially. So I really don't worry about that too much. Um,
I
just
still
a
hate
good.
those. I still hate them because they still
Oh,
count.
me too.
I
I
hate
can't
them.
stand it because it gives the Twitter casuals just a little more ammunition to come
Yeah,
after Josh. So, and we
guys
all
like
know who
June,
you are out there. Yeah, guys
guys
like
like
you.
June
Yeah,
who will compare Josh Allen to Tua or something crazy like that.
yeah, yeah. So, I want to see a little bit more commitment to the run. I'm looking for like a 20, kind of like a 2090 game out of a guy like Cook. Maybe a little Damian Harris, 7 or 8 carries, something like that. Just I would like to see them throw it a middle of the field a little bit more this week, if
Mhm.
possible. But I say, Josh, I really don't have any major complaints about the way Josh has been playing. Even the Jets game, the interceptions were really the fumble and the interceptions were really were the real problems. So other than that, I think he's been excellent. On the defensive side, if Barkley plays this week, just keep him in check, right? I think if we keep him in check, our pass rush will be able to create a couple mistakes, and I think we'll be just fine. And the other thing about last week, we we were in the field, what, 80 something plays, we gave up 25 points. That's actually not that bad, Whittle, when you really think about it.
Right,
Right.
right.
Against a very good Jacksonville team, which we went over last week, right? I mean, let's give some
Yep,
credit to them too as well. They got some really good playmakers on the outside.
absolutely.
So I thought we did just fine in that respect. So I think that's the biggest key. Match the energy of the crowd coming out, because Buffalo brings it. We're not on. We're on Sunday night. Buffalo fans get amped, so we're going to be ready. So just match that energy, come out, get some quick scores. We want to see ball cap Josh this game. That's the ultimate goal that we're looking for. And even ball cap Diggs and ball cap Davis, Gabe. I want to see a lot of that later in the game. So those to me are the keys. Again, just don't give the Giants already reeling mentally, right? Don't give a
Mhm.
team like that a reason to rally behind their coach, right? Again, it's a homecoming for Daboll. He's going to be pumped. You know he's going to be, right? Don't give
Right.
them a reason to say, man, we want to get this for our coach. We want to steal this game from Buffalo. No, just, pedal to the metal right away, get a couple touchdowns, get up on them 14 or even 20, and then just take it home, making a nice methodical. Maybe some of you on the East Coast fall asleep a little early Sunday night with a smile on your face and a nice big win. So, how about you,
um
Whittle? What do you think the keys are for Sunday night?
the keys to me are to establish a run. Establish a run with play. Establish the run with play action. If we can do that, um, I think if we can do that, we'll be just fine. They've got some inexperienced guys in that secondary. They got some young linebackers as well. I think the play action game with Josh under center will work really, really well. I think we should score early and often, and then fourth quarter kind of take our feet off the gas and just coast to a dub. I got this one 37 37-9 Buffalo. And the last
37-9.
and yeah, yep. 37 to did I say 37-9? No, I don't want
Yeah.
to go with 9. I think they'll get 37-10. I think they'll get in the end zone. I think they
Okay.
will.
Excellent.
37 to
Yeah.
10. That's where I'm at. I'm going to hold myself accountable to that pick as well. I'm trying to lock in on these scores now since I've been picking games pretty well.
Yes, you have. You almost nailed it last week to the points. You had us losing by 4.
Yeah, yeah. That's
So
unfortunate. That was an unfortunate loss. But that's
yep.
see, good teams, championship teams win those games. Those are the games you got to win, right?
Yes.
When situation isn't ideal, that's the game you have to win. And they'll have opportunities to
Mhm.
prove that they can win those types of games because the season is still young. We have very good teams left on our schedule. I'm sure they're all going to
Mhm.
have their own fighters. So um,
Yep.
we welcome them to the chat, and we'll see what happens. But
Absolutely.
so roster moves, we brought in Josh Norman, like we talked about. You said that was more of a coaching thing, in your opinion. I kind of agree with you. I think that I think they kind of did. I think they kind of did Kyrie a little dirty, and instead of just openly apologizing to him and putting themselves in a bad predicament with from a power vacuum standpoint, I think they just got a guy in there that can practice and show him where he's making his mistakes in real time on the field. So I like the Josh Norman move for that. If they're just bringing him in to kind of be a position coach inside the locker room and on the field while the game is going on, then so be it. But that's really all it needs to be. June, you are blowing this. June, the Jets are not going anywhere. Okay, you're one game behind us, and you by the end of the season, you'll be 7 games behind us. So like, we don't care. We do not care.
But Jude, we thank you for coming on and spending some time with us. Though
Yeah,
it
thank you for
definitely it
coming
definitely
on,
makes it
man, as
entertaining.
always.
We
I
love it.
appreciate one of my good brothers in real
Mhm.
life supporting what we're doing right now. Um, but yeah, man, like I really don't have much else. Like I like the Giants. I hate that
I
it has to be them as the bounce back
yeah.
sacrificial lamb, but hey,
Mhm.
man, that's how it goes, you know.
Yep. You know, Whittle, I did have one question for you. Okay, as we
Okay.
kind of close, but I'll give you just a quick prediction: 34-13. I agree. Workmanlike performance. You know, maybe it's not perfect, but yeah, I think we get it done. We get the 4-2. Again, not exactly where we were hoping we would be, but we'll take it and we move on from there. So, Josh, a couple touchdowns. I think we get a couple more rushing touchdowns this week. I think it's gonna be that kind of game. So, the weather, it might be a little rainy. It's gonna be cooler, like 45 degrees. They're saying maybe mid to high 40s. So that'll be interesting. But there's one thing I
He'll
wanted
be
to
all
ask
right.
you. I
What's
wanted
up?
to ask you to be GM Whittle for a second, if you're Brandon Bean,
Okay.
right? Considering all the defensive, so considering the defensive issues, considering we're in our Super Bowl window, right?
Mm-hmm.
Considering we have 10 picks next year, we
Mm-hmm.
talked about Kansas City a little bit. What we said, how their offense was so elite and their defense was just good enough to win. If you
Mm-hmm.
were presented a possibility of getting another major playmaker on this offense that we can rent for the year, would you dip into are you comfortable with going with what we have, or would you look to use our draft capital, and how much would you be willing to use? I know it's a loaded question, but I just wanted to get your thoughts. Like, would you look to maybe, I know everybody's focused on is getting defensive players in the trade, but what about if we make this offense just so incredible that it's going to be almost a matchup nightmare, a la like San Francisco is right now for us to do?
Um, well, San Francisco is more of a timing based offense.
Mhm.
With some read some read with some read opportunities for the quarterback. They do a really good job over there. I
Mhm.
would definitely like to go after if I had to pick one player, probably a wide receiver, man. Gabe Davis's route running is inconsistent. I am 100% locked in to bringing another wide receiver in here. Give me Jerry Judy. You
Yeah.
know, give me
I,
Jerry Judy.
I like the thought. I just think with Josh Allen and what he could do, and just with the line looking so much better, I just think about the damage we could do with those three wide receivers. Like,
Absolutely, man.
good luck.
Yeah,
And with Kincaid
yeah.
and Knox, yeah, absolutely. So, that's what I've been thinking. I feel like I would do it, but maybe we'll have to see how it goes for the next couple of weeks. See where the defense is, right? To see where Dorian is, like you said, see where we are with our secondary, and we'll go from there. But I don't see Bean doing anything for at least probably right up to the deadline.
You're probably right, man. I don't think that it's advantageous for us to do that right now because I don't think that there's a player on the market or on the defensive line or as an edge rusher that's good enough or impactful enough to warrant spending some draft picks.
Yeah,
But
I mean, I know Patrick. The who's the one from the Broncos that everybody's been kicking around lately? Surtain,
mhm.
is it Patrick Surtain? I mean, I just think the cost on him would be too much to bring in for that. Just for a year. I don't want to dip into our first round pick in 2024. It's just something I just don't think where we are cap wise. That's something. It's not a smart. It's not the kind of move I see being doing because as much as he wants to win, he also wants us to be competitive at a high level for a long. He's in for the long run, so I just don't see us doing that. So, but I do think Judy. We could get Judy without giving up our first round pick. I'm confident we can do that. So that's something I would love to see Bean do.
Um, Correction. There is a move that I would make. There is a move I would make. I would go after Deontay Jackson, the cornerback out in Carolina. In Carolina, a ton of speed. He is super fast. Like he's I can catch Jalen Waddle fast. That's how fast he is. I would not mind at all bringing a guy like him in. There's another corner, Greedy Williams, that's out there. Used to
Hmm.
play for Cleveland. He had some issues or whatever. Hey man, get him in the building. Let's coach him up and see what he got at the end of the year. Because you don't find 6'2", 185-pound corners that run a sub 440. So this guy's one of them. So yeah, I like him a lot for Buffalo. But nah, man, I really don't have much else, man. I mean, that would be pretty much it.
Yeah.
I don't think we need to do a
Okay.
ton to beat the Giants, but
Hmm.
whatever.
Absolutely. I think I'm looking forward to, there was such a long time for so many years, little we weren't on Sunday Night Football, right? I mean, I
Yeah,
think we went 14 years or
yeah,
so without a game on Sunday night. So, I mean,
yeah.
we only have two 1 o'clock Sunday games for you East Coast folks left,
Well,
and they're both against the New England Patriots, which is
you
unbelievable, right?
you know what that means, right?
What's that?
That means that the Buffalo Bills are one of the best teams in the league. They are choosing to put
Yep.
them on in prime time and in the coveted spot where you get the East Coast and the West Coast at the same time. I love that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. As a West Coast fan, I love Sunday night games. 5:30 is a perfect start time, so I'll take it.
Mhm. Well, with that being said, um, well, this is coast to coast, man. You can come check us out every Wednesday at 9 to 10. We try to keep it to an hour. So if you've been working out or something like that, you can just pop us on and listen to what we're saying. And that's that. Um, and one thing you can always do is be entertained. You can come here and read the comments and see how Jet fans are just losing their minds week after week.
Mhm.
And now,
Uh,
they've beaten a bad team in Denver and they think their season is not over with yet. You guys are dead in the
mhm.
water. Trust me. The only reason you're moving is because the water current's pulling your boat further out to sea. That's all. You're dead in the water. Your engines are not working. It's over. Okay, it's over. But
Absolutely.
any final thoughts beyond before we go?
Now, just want to say thank you as always, Whittle. It's an absolute pleasure. This is our 12th
12, yeah.
official show, so we're rolling along. So if
Yeah,
anybody's
we get
out
there.
there listening, if you're on YouTube, please like and subscribe to our channel. We love those. Thank you so much for all everybody else that's out there listening and subscribes to us. It's a major help, and we appreciate everyone in the chat. Yes, even you, June. We do appreciate you coming in here and chopping up with us about the Jets. So I look forward to it every week. So, and let's just hope we have a better a lot better things to talk about next week as we get ready to go to New England next week.
Oh God. Our home away from our home. We're gonna blow the doors off of New England. We're gonna show the
Yep.
Jets how to do it. We're gonna show you guys how it's done. Okay, we're gonna go up into Foxborough and we're gonna beat the Patriots. Okay, you guys get to watch that. Take some notes. Okay, take some notes, June. When we play the Patriots, this is what you need to do. That's the way you have to do it. But with that being said, this is Whittle 2K. My co-host to the left of me is Beyond 716. And yeah, man, I mean, we signing off. Go Bills.
Go Bills, Whittle. Have a great night. Have a great week, everyone.